Hello and welcome to MTEL Garage. Today we're doing the rear brake pads on this 3 Series BMW. It's a 2009 plate, 318i, and yeah, we're basically all we are doing is doing the rear brake pads. We're going to lift it up, take the rear wheel off, pull the rear brake pads out, and replace the rear brake pads and replace the rear wear sensor as well. So let's get to work. Right, first job, before we even lift it up, we need to crack these wheel nuts off. One out, 1, 2, and 3. Next thing, got to jack her up. Now basically on the BMWs there are jacking blocks, so you can lift them up on these blocks, and it is safe to do so. They are normally marked on the sill or some kind of marking, but I can't see any on these. You can see the jacking block on the sill. See what it looks like. This underneath here. And pick her up. Wheel is off. Next thing to do, slide that wheel under the car, just in case she falls. Right, first thing is this spring. Now basically, get the spring out, you've got to lift it, push it in, and pull it back like that. So push the spring in, pop it out. Pull that out, that's that. That's the rear caliper loose. Now basically what we've got to do now is we've got to get this caliper off. Now there's 2 bolts around the back. Like there's 2 bolts around the back. One here, and there's one down the bottom. They're normally Allen keys, and you put your little screw, get your little screwdriver, pop the cap off the back like that, which is there. So you get your screwdriver like so, put that in there, pop that off the back like so. Same with the bottom one, get that in there, pop that off, another cap off like so. See? Right, I've already taken this apart now. Basically someone's ripped the end of the brake pad wear sensor off, and the brake pads are all binding and pretty dead. Now basically the caliper is mounting like that, if you imagine, so. And then there's a spring, which is this thing, which mounts in here, like so. Now basically to get this spring out, you have to push it forwards and unclip it, then that comes away. And then basically the caliper is held on by these 2 sliders here, which are right here in my hand, and basically they are located in these 2 tubes here. They come in from that side, and they are 7mm Allen keys, and they come in from the back of the hub like so. So they push in like so. Imagine they push in like so, and they go in like so in there, and basically bolt into the back of the carrier. Now to undo them, 7mm Allen key, take them out, both, one in the bottom, one in the top, as you can see. So they go in there like that. Take the caliper off, pull the pads out. Now the pads have got a retaining feature on like this, which basically clips, which basically pushes and clips into here like so. And then the other one is just a straight type pad, which basically sits on the front like that. Now basically the reason I took this out is this inside pad was burning away, and the carrier basically had collapsed, as you see. And also when I took it off, you see the brake pipe here, that was twisted like that. So someone had basically put the caliper on wrong and twisted the pipe, and it was sitting like that basically. So you must not have twists like that in your pipe. Your pipe must be nice and true like that, if you imagine. No twists, no bad snags, because otherwise what it will do is it will split and it will break and it will pop off, and then you will lose your brakes. So that's now done and it's all stripped off. I've cleaned the carriers out with a file, both top and bottom, and wire brushed them out, and I've wire brushed the carrier out as well. Now we are going to go basically putting this thing back together. Now first of all, we put our inner brake pad in, which is this one, and that's got these clip features like that. Now basically you get some grease, brake grease, like so. Put a little blob on there, and then basically you don't have to cover the whole back of the pad. You just have to basically make a smear around like that, which is where your brake pad, your brake piston will sit to stop it from squeaking. Also put a little bit of dollop on the metal fingers to stop it from singing a little bit, like so. Clean your fingers off, and then basically get your caliper, like so. Put this in and push that into the actual caliper, like so. So that's the first one. Next one, we get the other pad, which is in here, which is here, and there's no carrier on the back of that, as you can see. And basically we get some more grease, and then basically this one, I'm going to put a smear there, a smear there, like so. Then this one, place it in your carrier, like so. Now that's done, get your caliper with your piston already pushed back in, put that on there like so. So that's back on. Get your sliders, one slider, wire brush it off, clean all the mess off, get it nice and clean. Right, when she's nice and clean, get your brake grease. Now I would suggest with BMWs that you get proper brake grease, because the copper will attack, the grease in the copper will attack the rubber fittings on the back of the caliper, and they will expand and all go soft and squishy, and then basically they do not operate properly and you get weird brake movement. So get proper brake grease. Grease the sliders, just a dollop on there, like so. Smear it round the actual slider. Do not put it on the thread. The thread must not have any grease on it. If you grease the threads, the vibration of the brakes can undo the sliders and your calipers will fall off. So do not grease the threads on your sliders, only the slider body, which is this straight long bit here. Then push that into the back of the caliper like so. Then basically repeat the process again. More brake grease, blob there, spin it around the shaft like before, knot on the thread, put that in the bottom slider position, in it goes, like so and like so. Next we need our 7mm Allen key in the top slider position. Now caliper in position, and then start winding it in. You have to give it a little bit of a push because it is sprung loaded to get the thread to locate into the back of the carrier. Do that up. Go to the bottom one. Same thing again. Give it a little push in and out. Get it to take. Then wind it in. You should be able to wind it in with your fingers. If you crank it in and you have to crank it in with a ratchet, something is going wrong. So you should be able to wind it in somewhat with your fingers. And then get your ratchet, plop it on, make sure it's on do up in the back of the hub, and crank it up. Same with that one. Pop, pop, pop. Right, sliders are now in, and we have the slider caps which push on and cover up the sliders into the back of the actual sliders. Right, now next thing, the spring retainer. Put it in, hook the top in first, push it in, clip that one in as well, and basically get yourself a little extension bar, little tap, located. Right, next is we've got to remove the broken brake wear sensor. Right, so next thing is to fit this. This is a brake pad wear sensor, like I said. This part here is what contacts the brake disc, and this clips into the brake pad here. There's a gap in the brake pad, which you can see there by the disc, and it basically inserts into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down here. The brake pad wear sensor goes in here, clips into the pad like so. Now basically once that's in, what now happens is to retain it on there. Basically pop this off and basically put the cable, basically move this round here like so, and the cable goes through there, and you pop that into there like that, and then this now comes round here into the lower arm and then goes round over here and round the back of the spring, so. And then there's two clips which are mounted, which basically clips onto on the lower arm, which you can see there and there. So I'll clip that in now. So I'll show you the front. So that's where it's with it all clipped in, you see, pushed into the brake pad. Now we come around to the back. Now this one, there's a clip up here that it pushes into, which is there, but the actual clip on this one is broken, and this one is broken here as well. So basically I'm going to have to cable tie or find a way to strap this up somehow, because if I don't secure it properly it'll get bitten by the spring. So basically I've got to move this arch liner now. This one here, 1, 2, 3, there's a bolt missing up there. Pull that out of the way so I can get to the actual connectors behind there. This is where the plug is. So push two pins together. Pop that off. See you later. Broken wear sensor. Get a new one. Make sure, right, so zoom around the wrong way, that's got to go around that way. Plug that in, pop, so that goes back up, pushes into the bottom there, that plugs in, and so on, and then the wires push up in there. Right, so that's the cables back in. Right, now we need to find a way to secure these cables up. So this is the fun bit. So they're tied up out of the way. We'll get another cable tie, I think, and strap them two together up here. Snip these two ends off here. And that. Pop this out of the way. Get an arch line coming down. That back on that stud. That gets back down on there. That. You put one screw back in here. Right, anyway. Right, so that's how you do your set of rear brakes and put your brake pad wear sensor in. The next thing is to reset it on the computer to remove the brake wear indicator, and then you're all good to go. remember as well, once you've fitted your rear brake pads, that that you won't have much braking power. Remember, once you've fitted your new rear brake pads, basically you've got to pump your brakes out for your pads to meet your discs. So don't just jump in it, go flying down the road and try to hit the brakes, because you won't have any. So remember to pump your brakes out first before you drive it. And that's about it. Anyway, hope that's been useful. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean up now, and then because this hub's got a load of corrosion around it, get the wheel back on. I might adjust the rear brake shoes as well at the same time, which you can do. Basically, you put your disc like that, and there's a little adjuster that you can go in through the hole basically with a screwdriver, which is in there. And you get your screwdriver in, and then you flick it round until it adjusts out, until it stops when the pads meet the inside of this little drum, and then you wind it back about I normally wind it back 3, so click it 1, 2, 3 back, and that normally does it. Right, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope that's been useful, and I hope you have a lot of success with doing your rear brakes on your 3 Series BMW.